Little Britain is a British sketch comedy series that began as a radio show in 2000 and ran as a television series between 2003 and 2007, which in turn spurred a live show which toured internationally between 2005 and 2007, with various specials for comic relief, charity marathons, and of course an HBO-produced Little Britain USA spin-off in 2008. It was written and performed by David Walliams and Matt Lucas. Financed by the BBC, the radio series was first broadcast on BBC Radio 4, with the initial 2 television series premiering on BBC 3 and the third and final series on BBC 1. The programme consists of a series of sketches involving exaggerated parodies on British people from various walks of life. Each sketch was introduced by a voice-over narration by Tom Baker, suggesting that the programme was a guide aimed at non-British people to British society. Despite the narrator's depiction of great British institutions, the comedy arises from the British audience's self-deprecating understanding of either themselves or of people known to them. Recurring characters include Andy Pipkin, who has falsely presented himself as requiring the use of a wheelchair to gain attention from his carrier, Lou Todd. David Thomas, who claims to be the only gay in the village, despite much evidence to the contrary, and Vicky Pollard, presented as a working-class chef engaging in antisocial behaviour. The programme's title is in relation to the term Little Englander, a reference to narrow-mindedness and complacent singularity exhibited by many subjects of the sketches, and of course, Great Britain. The series was popular and received high viewing figures, receiving 9.5 million viewers following its move to BBC One in 2005. Despite the series' popularity, commentators expressed concern on the impact the show had on a large numbers of children who watched it, and how the heavy use of toilet humour, particularly in the second and third series. Concerns were also raised regarding the perceived derogatory manner in which Little Britain depicted women and minority groups. In 2017, Lucas stated that he had come to agree with the latter's criticism. In 2020, the show was removed from the various UK streaming services due to the use of blackface. Speaking in October 2017, Matt Lucas explained that if he had to remake Little Britain, he would avoid making jokes about transvestites and would not play the role of a black character. Lucas went on to say, basically, I wouldn't make that show now. It would upset too many people. We made a more cruel kind of comedy than I do now. Society has moved on a lot since then, and my views have also evolved. Lucas, however, defended the decisions that were taken at the time and explained that he and co-star Walliams deliberately sought to play a diverse group of people. The pair went on to reproduce some of the characters, including a brief reprisal of Emily Howard, the transvestite, on BBC's The Big Night In during the 2020 pandemic, where they acknowledged in character that they'd never play the character ever again. In June 2020, Little Britain was removed from BBC iPlayer, Netflix and BritBox, alongside with Come Fly With Me, for its use of blackface. A spokesperson from BBC said that there's a lot of historical programming available on BBC iPlayer, which we regularly review. On its decision to remove the shows, BritBox added, times have changed since Little Britain first aired, so it's not currently available on BritBox anymore. Speaking shortly after the removal, Lucas and Walliams apologised again, saying, once again we want to make it clear that this was wrong, and we are very sorry. Now, the show has often been criticised for its punch-down comedic style. Others said it resorted to toilet humour in search of cheap laughs and becoming increasingly offensive. Now, for me, I think Little Britain is arguably one of the best comedy sketch shows I've ever watched. And the comedy stands the test of time. The extraordinary talents of both David Walliams and Matt Lucas are outstanding as they reinvent themselves for every single role that they take on. Yes, the show is crude. Yes, the show is shocking. Yes, it's controversial, but that's the point. That's what humour does. It challenges us. And everybody's sense of humour is subjective. What you might find hilarious, I might not. What I find hilarious, you may not. And that's the joy of art, as we all appreciate it in our different ways. But there is no denying the talent of these two courageous performers. This show has always made me laugh out loud, and I think that's the fundamental point of it. It's there to make you laugh, not to go in depth on it, not to offend, just to give you a laugh if you choose to watch it. And if you don't want to watch it, then don't. It's always one of those shows that I will reference and remember, and I can watch it over and over again. I just decided recently to watch all 4 seasons again, including the American version, which I found even more shocking and even more controversial. But that's what I loved about it. I felt these two comedians are brave. That's what comedy does. It shocks, it challenges, it questions, it makes you think. Now, I don't look at these two men, in terms of Matt Lucas and David Walliams, as two performers that are looking to cause upset. Matt Lucas himself is openly gay, and if you look at a lot of the commentary used in the show, it's almost to point out the way we view ourselves and view our place within society, and how we judge others that look different, sound different, or act different to us. I feel this comedy show challenges that notion, actually pushes you to think and say, oh my, oh wow. And I've personally always felt one of the most important things in life is the ability to laugh at oneself and to be able to laugh with others, not at others. There are even parts of the show where I felt somewhat uncomfortable, where I even thought, gee, these guys are really pushing the limit here. But I think that's what makes it bold. I think that's what makes it funny. And that is the fundamentals of British comedy, self-deprecation. Now, this show is certainly not for everyone. And if you don't like your comedy biting, if you don't like your comedy pushing agendas, or being sometimes over the top and being crude, then this show is most certainly not for you. But there is no denying the talent of these two incredible performers. Some of the roles, they are absolutely unrecognizable. The accents are always on point, and the chemistry between of them is off the charts. They are both incredibly talented performers, and their comedy is on the mark. David Walliams has been diagnosed with bipolar disorder and considers himself a pansexual, and once made a beautiful quote that has always stayed with me. He said, "I think it's all about falling in love with a person, and that is overlooked. Really, I hate it when people confess or reveal their sexuality. And also, things can change for people over the years. So it is about the person, but I also think it goes beyond that. You don't just fall in love with somebody's body, do you? You fall in love with somebody's soul, their heart, and their brain." I think it's a beautiful quote, and in many ways it sums up for me what this show is about. Yes, it's controversial. Yes, it's different, but if anything, it points out to certain aspects of society that maybe we just don't want to discuss, and it makes fun of it. It makes fun of them. It makes fun of us for laughing at it. I do agree with a lot of movements that have come forward in saying, let's look at ourselves as a society. But hitting back at comedy, which is put forward to make us laugh, to give us the freedom of choice to choose whether we want to watch the show or not, I think is the wrong way to go. Little Britain was made to be controversial, was made to shock you, but it was also made to make you laugh if you wanted to. So watch it if you dare, and if you choose to, I hope you enjoy it. In the same breath, if you find it offensive, then just turn it off. Now, this review is for all 4 seasons of the show, and I've loved all 4 of them and could watch them time and time again, and I think these 2 men are incredibly talented. Little Britain, as a whole, gets a 9.5 out of 10.